Hi, and welcome back to this fourth video in this online course where we talk about the preliminary income tax. In this video, we will see how you can file a new preliminary income tax return to the tax agency so you can get a new recalculation of the tax. And in the video after this, we will see how the decision paper you receive from the tax agency, how that looks. And in the final video, we will also see, okay, now I pay the tax. How will I handle that in my bookkeeping? How do I book it? So we will have some examples there. But now, the preliminary income tax return, that is an e-service that you find on the tax agency's website. So www.skatteverket.se. And you can, if you want to, sign in to My Pages, or if you can go directly to the e-service and you find it here. It says preliminär inkomstdeklaration. And then you click on the sign in. And then we are here, and you start by choosing which kind of tax return object you want to file this for. So here you will probably have your own name. And if you have a limited company, you will also find the limited company's name. So choose the one you actually want to change the preliminary tax for. So if you run a sole trader, you choose your own name. If you run a limited company, you choose a limited company's name. And then we see, okay, this is the information about this taxable entity, liability. I don't really know how to translate deklarationsobjekt. So let's make sure you have that. And if you look in the bottom here, you can see the receipts from previous filed income tax returns, and you can also see the decisions. Here I actually recommend that you click on the link to the newest one and see, okay, what is the total amount of the preliminary tax that they already have decided? Because we want to compare that number with the one we get when we have redone the calculation. Because we don't need to file it all to the tax agency before we can see what the new preliminary tax will be. So it can be interesting to just compare them and see, do I want to actually file this or so that here you can find that one. So in the next step, we choose which kind of tax year we want to change. And in the top is this year, and the below here is next year. And you also see the dates there, so you can decide. In this example, we choose this year that we are in right now, and then we click on the next one. Do you remember the numbers that we got in the previous video? We had the income. We estimate it to be 300,000, and we estimate the costs to be 160,000, and then we have a profit of 140,000. So these are the numbers we want to bring with us into the e-service. So in the next step, we need to start typing the information, and we start with näringsverksamhet. That is the company. So make sure you have that one in the first one. And then we click on beräkningshjälp. That is like help to calculate the profit and loss. And I also recommend that you use this one, especially when you run a sole trader, because here we get the extra help with some adjustments in the end. So we click on beräkningshjälp, and then we type, okay, what the name of your company. In this example, I have just written verksamhet 1, number 1. And then you click active. And you have active as long as you are your working time is the one that actually gives you money in the company. Passive is more if you are like owning forests and you are just sitting there and your grandmother was the one who planted the trees, and perhaps your grandchildren will be the one who chopped them down, and you are just sitting there and own this forest for them. Then it's passive, because you don't need to actually do so much work for this company. But you who look at this video, I guess, are active in your company because you are running it now. So let's go back. Okay, what numbers did we have? The first thing here is to tell, okay, how much sale do I have? And we thought it would be around 300,000. In the next boxes we have, if you let's say your company owns a car that you can use, then you can have a car benefit, and then you add that number here. Or if you have interests, you get an interest, then you add that as well. But in this company, in this example, we only have sales. So then we click on the summon button, and then it's 300,000 there. So this e-service helps us with that one. We scroll down a little bit, and now we see we have direct costs. That is varor, material och tjänster. So the thing that we actually need to buy, otherwise we can't get the income. And in this company, we are selling a service. So we have not so many things that we need to have to be able to sell the service. Most of our costs are things that we will have either if we are selling or not. So in our estimation, we have like direct costs of 10,000, and other external costs would be like 150,000. And then we have, if you are an employer, you add the numbers for employees, and if you have interest fees, and if you have assets like the car, for example, and you make a deduction for that every year, then you can add that as well. But in this example, we don't have anything of that. So we click on the summary button, and now we see the result, 140,000. So this was the one that we already have calculated. But now we scroll down a little bit more, and now we come to the tax adjustments. In this case, we don't do so many tax adjustments, but we want to make the standard deduction for the Social Security fees. And if we use this e-service, we don't need to make that calculation for ourselves. We just click on the calculate button, and then this e-service calculates it for us. And when we are finished, we just click on the button below there, för över uppgifter, and then this number will be in the main part of this preliminary income tax return. Next step is to see if you need to add anything in the other menus there, and that is if you have an employee, if you are employed and have a salary, then you add that in the menu of anställning. If you own property, then you have that information in the fastigheter. If you own shares or other capital things, you add that in the kapital. If you don't do anything else than just run your company, then you probably will not need to add anything here. If you own a house or things like that, then the e-service knows this, so they will add it for you. Then we come to the next step where we just check that everything is okay, and we want to make the calculation of the tax. But before we click on that button, I suggest that you check the little box with you want to add your profit and loss report to this tax return. The reason I suggest that you do that is because then the system will save your profit and loss report. Otherwise, it will not be saved. And when you, let's say 6 months after this or a year after this, want to see, okay, but what had I calculated? What was it? Then you can sign into this e-service and see it. So you can tick that little box. Scroll down, and then you click on the calculate tax. And then you see, okay, what the tax will be on this profit. If you don't want to, now, for example, you can compare with the one that the tax agency have already decided. And if you are not ready to file this preliminary income tax, you don't need to do that. You can just save it. If you want to file, I say, you click on the next little box, you tick that one and say, now I have checked everything and I'm ready to sign. So when you want to file, you do go the whole way here. Otherwise, you just stop here if you just wanted to see how the tax would be if I earn this much money. What will it be then? And then you need to wait a little bit for the tax agency to go through this. Probably it will only be a computer to just check everything, and you will get a decision from the tax agency real quick. Or if something looks strange, then the computer will say, I think we need someone to check this, and then they will pick out your preliminary income tax return and send it to another tax agent so they can check it, and then they will contact you if they have any questions. But then you will have your decision from Skatteverket. So in the next video, we will look at how you read that one. See you there.